Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome back to my channel. I've got a kind of autumn fall themed video today. I'm going to be doing pine cones two ways. First of all, I did a very mini Shein order recently with some bits for Christmas, but I also bought the silicone mould for pine cones. I am obsessed with pine cones. If I ever go out if I'm on my mobility scooter and my husband's walking, if I pass a pine cone on the ground, I can't leave it. I have to pick it up. It's like a obsessive compulsion. So he was obviously delighted when he found out that I've now got a silicone mold to make even more pine cones. So I'm not going to do the resin tonight. I'm going to do the resin tomorrow to make those. So I'm excited about that. But also there's a couple of different kits that I've bought this year, intending to have already made them by now, and I haven't. So I got two of these, the full collection. These are pine cones, and you get polystyrene eggs, and you get all of the pieces pre-cut, and you basically just glue them around the egg. It looks dead easy. I know from experience of doing anything with polystyrene and a glue gun that it will not be as easy as these instructions make it look. But you start off with a little circle, stick that on the end, and then you wind around these jagged kind of shark tooth pieces until you get to the very end, and then you stick the flower shape on the big end there, leaving the little bit sticking out, and then you roll up these to make a little stalk, and then you've got a hanging cord. So really simple. It looks really simple. I suspect that I'm going to very much regret the fact that I never did buy any of those silicone finger protectors for when you're using the glue gun. If I get off today without a glue gun burn, I will be frankly astonished, but let's give it a go. I actually got two of these, so I can make 6 pine cones out of this felt. So that'll be really nice. And for a different video, I've also got a plushy pumpkin kit, but I'll deal with pumpkins in a separate video. So yeah, I've read the instructions. Doesn't really seem to be much to it. It's just going to be a case of not burning myself. So it's really nice sometimes to have something that's pre-cut like this. You don't have to really put any planning into it. It's all done for you. And there are times where that's just what you need. It's a nice kind of cozy craft thing to do. A good thing to do with kids if you can protect them from the heat of the heat gun. So what I think I'm going to do is roll up my stalks first so that the glue can be setting on those, and then I will get on, and yeah, we get 2 yellow and 1 orange pine cone in this kit. So I'll do these 3 now and see how long it takes, and then if I've got the energy I will make the other 3 as well. So let's get started. Turned on my glue gun. Once the glue gun's heated up, we'll be ready to roll. Okay, that's all the pieces sorted. When I was first looking at this, I thought you had to roll it lengthways, and I just couldn't figure out how that was going to work, and I realised that you're just rolling it up along the long edge, so that should be okay. So I'm going to roll those up first. I think they're going to be the fiddliest thing to do, but I'm going to just give that a try, see if I can get them to roll up without injuring myself. She says, about to stick her finger immediately into some hot glue. I cannot be trusted with hot glue. I manage to burn myself almost every time. That's one. I've got strands of glue stuck to my nails. Get off. Okay, right, so we start on the small end. Let's the trouble is the glue gun will melt the polystyrene if it gets too hot. That's my concern. My glue gun is not variable temperature, so it's kind of tough to mitigate the hot. I just find myself having to turn it off and let it cool down a little bit sometimes. So I think theirs starts quite far down, so that hopefully will cover up the mess of the first layer. guess this is a trust the process kind of project. Ow, 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 ow. This is really not looking much like a pine cone right now. Oh, I'm going to get a nice blister there. Christ, that really hurt. My bass playing fretting finger as well. When I picked this up, I thought it was a sewing kit. And I saw that it was glue, and I kind of, my heart sank a little bit, because I always find I burn myself with every hot glue project. And this is no exception. No, 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 no. To undo all of that. I should have measured this and put some lines on the egg to give me a bit of a guide, because I definitely ran out of felt there and need to make sure that there's a bigger overlap this time. Let's try that again. How have they got that to lay? I'm going to have to snip into this. There's no way that that is going to sit right unless I cut some slits into it and give it some shaping. It's just not going to work. There's just no way that that can work without some... The trouble is now I've got to cut through a lot of hot glue. Just so that they can overlap a little bit and stick down on there. It's the only way that I can see that this is going to work. Did it say that on the instructions? There's nothing in the instructions about this at all, but you can't make long strips fit around an egg-shaped object without some form of shaping in it. It's just not going to do it. Hopefully I've not ruined it by doing this. To be fair, it can't ruined it by doing this. I think it can't really get a lot worse than it is currently. This is absolutely dreadful. Oh my gosh. If any of you guys tried these kits, could you get it to work? Because this does not look like a pine cone in any shape or form. Like, it just doesn't. Maybe it will once I get the other bits on, but right now it's just not. So this is lumpy because there's so much glue on there, so it's hard to get it to actually stick down flat. But now I can put that on there and it's sort of going to hide, sort of going to hide the mess that I've made under here. If you're offended by rogue hot glue trails, look away now. Okay, let's get the stalk on. I'm over it at this point. Yeah, so obviously I've rolled that up too small, so now I can see polystyrene through it. I need a brown felt tip pen or something to colour in that. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that because I'm not going to be able to unroll all of that with all the glue on it. So if I can find black Sharpie. Right, I'm going to go see if I can find a black felt tip of some description. Okay, I have a pine cone. I've made some adaptations ready for number 2. What I've done, the first and the last strips I've put little slits into so that they can slightly overlap and get a little bit of shaping, because they're just not going to shape around the egg otherwise. The ones in the middle are fine, it's the first and the last. Also, I've cut some little slits in the circle that goes on first, so again I can slightly overlap them and get some shape so it'll hug the egg, because it just can't stick down properly otherwise unless you have a little bit of overlap. Hopefully that will make this one a little bit better. That was a nightmare, to be honest. So yeah, the one with the deeper cuts I'm going to do first, and then I've put some slits in this other one too, so I'll yeah, go with that. The hot glue strings are driving me absolutely up the wall. I'm looking forward to getting this finished. I can do the resin ones, because resin's frustrating, but this is way more annoying. I've burnt myself 7,000 times already. Well, not really, but yeah, feels like that. So I'm going to put my glue gun back on. I have to keep turning it off as well because it's getting too hot, because this is taking me way longer than it ought to. So first blob in the middle, get that down. Then I can put a little nubbin underneath, push that down. And the one next to it can slightly overlap. I'm hoping that will mean it sticks down a little bit better. It's kind of strange that that hasn't been done, because I can't see how this could possibly work properly without these little cuts to shape it. There's no way that the picture on the box has been done with the pieces cut exactly the way that, I just can't see how it could possibly have worked without some modifications like this. So let's hope this is the orange one now of this first kit. I've already messed the stalks because I've rolled them up too tight, so there's a gap, so I know for the next one to roll it up and measure it against that final piece. That was my mistake, so I can't blame them for that one. But that straight away is now sitting flat, so it's giving me a better start. And when I now put this on, I've got those little slits that mean we can, so it's just gonna sit nicer. It's gonna give it like that proper pointed crown. So let's hope this one's a bit better. That's so much better having that, it really is. Just those little nicks making all the difference. Number 1, number 2. The shape is better near the top end because of those notches. I do think that that's better there, and I think the bottom bit there is a bit better as well, because everything can kind of tuck in a bit more neatly. So I'm going to notch the other one before I make it. I'm going to notch all of the pieces this time instead of just the inner and outer ones, because I do feel that I'm getting more control that way. So I'll do that one off camera and see how that looks, and then I can decide whether I've got the energy to do the other 3 tonight. Right, that's 3 done. First one, second, third. I think the third one is better. I'm just picking up different tips as I go along. I've also realised that if you slightly squash the top of the egg down before you stick the stalk on, that bonds a bit better because it's not trying to stick to something that's domed. So I use my tweezers to push that a bit flatter. So there are bits of each one that are better than the others. I am going to have so many blisters tomorrow. Me and hot glue, God, I really do have to get some of those silicone finger savers, because this one's just obscene for how many times it keeps getting me. I'm going to do the other 3 off camera. So basically, as I said, just snipping up into them so that you can overlap them a little bit and angle them and glue them to the 3D surface better. That has definitely made a big difference to how easy they are to stick together. So I'm going to do that for all of the next ones, and hopefully I will get them done a little bit faster. I'm going to make sure I don't roll the stalks up as tight as well, so I'm going to actually measure it up against the hole in the center of this little dude that looks like a flower, so that I make sure I don't have to use felt tip to hide the polystyrene. Okay, let's hope I don't get more blisters. So many hot glue pens. If you get this kit, please, please, please do not try this without silicone finger savers. I swore more times making these than I have probably all year so far, but they're done. I'm going to leave the glue to fully set overnight because, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this for tonight. So yeah, I'll come back tomorrow and we can make some resin pine cones, and then we can compare and contrast the results from both methods. I'm off to get some sleep. I'll be back tomorrow. Alright, it's the next morning and I'm now going to go in with brown mica powder. I've got this dark brown, and I think that this is going to be more kind of true to life than the very yellow and orange colours of the other pine cones. So I'm going to do them in the dark brown, but once I've demoulded them, I'm going to just very lightly add a little bit of the gilding wax, the gold gilding wax, to just pick up the texture. And there's a lot of texture in these, they're quite deep. So I've got a couple of brushes. I've got a smaller brush to try to get in all of the little nooks and crannies, and I've got my slightly larger, fluffier brush as well. So it's just a case of getting the powder into here. Decide if I'm making more than one, like whether to make both moulds. Probably going to do both. Now this mica powder does have a little bit of shimmer to it, as most mica powder does, so it's going to have a nice amount of sort of tonal differences anyway, but I think adding that gold gilding wax on top just will really pick that up. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I love that gilding wax that I've got, it's amazing. I've used it a lot in my potion bottle stuff. And I've got a very exciting project planned for potion bottles quite soon, which I've been looking forward to doing since last year. So the resin that I'm going to use for this is the Apex High Gloss resin. It doesn't need to be particularly good clarity or gloss finish for this, but it's the one I have open at the moment, so I'm going to use that with my trusty Vista black liquid pigment. So PPE about to go on, I will mix my resin off camera, then I will be back to pour. We're back, it's the following day. It's been just over 24 hours since I poured these. One thing I was thinking I should have done really is go in with a micro brush, because there was lots of areas where air bubbles could get trapped here, and the resin was already quite thick, so I suspect there are going to be some hidden air bubbles. But I was also worried about going in and affecting the mica powder and leaving streaks, so hopefully I poured it fairly slowly, so they will have gone in all right. There are some very deep crevices. Oh my gosh, that really looks like a real pine cone. Wow. They really are very deep crevices, and it's almost multi-tonal already. I've got my gilding wax to hand here to just add some highlights to them. You could make them look Christmassy by adding like frost or something, but these are incredible. This is a good quality mould as well. I got it from Shein. It's a good solid silicone. Wow. Now, I don't know if these are symmetrical, whether you could glue two together. Kind of is. So you could glue two together to kind of get the effect of almost a full pine cone, but they're not quite full hemispheres. But I like them as they are. They're so pretty. But there's very little in this world that is not improved by a little hint of gilding wax. But you can see that it's very multi-tonal already because of the mica powder. I do want to give them just that tiny bit more pop, and I mean a minuscule amount of this gilding wax. It's very easy to overdo it with this stuff. So dry brushing, absolutely essential to get the effect. So just dab in with, I use a bristly brush for this. I find it better than the soft brushes. Dab in, dab most of it off on my mat, and then just a quick, just tickle the surface. And you can go with more of the gold if you are making Christmas decorations out of these. So that's a very subtle difference, but it does just pick up more of the texture. So if I show you side by side up close, you can see there's that extra layer of gold. Very pretty. This mould is absolutely awesome. It's funny, I was saying to my husband last night that I'd made these, and he said, oh, so you mean you won't be randomly picking up pine cones everywhere we go? I was like, I didn't say that. I just it just means I can make more pine cones if I want them, as well as picking up all the ones I see in the street. I put a bit too much on that one, but that's okay. Still very pretty. Can use your finger with this gilding wax, and it actually works really well with your finger. They are so pretty. That one's definitely gone to the Christmas place. I love these. I absolutely love them. They've clearly been moulded off real pine cones, I think anyway. However these were made, real pine cones have been used in the first instance, because you can just see the texture of them. They look so natural. Little ones would make absolutely gorgeous earrings. Maybe that way up. Do that, put a little eyelet screw into these, make them into a little pair of earrings, and they will do that. I love them so much. So I'm going to get the other pine cones together and put them side by side, and we can have a final close-up look at all of the different pine cones I've made in this video. Okay, here we are. We've got the felt ones, which are very stylized and obviously look handmade. These ones, without the gold on, actually looked like real pine cones, although cut in half, obviously, because they're flat backed. really love both. I found it very frustrating making those. So many glue burns, but got there in the end, and I really love them. They look really nice with little bunches of autumn flowers that I bought ages ago and still haven't actually put out anywhere yet. They're both so different and I really like both, so that's why I wanted to do both lots of pine cones in one video, just to show you the difference. That mould from Shein though, really good, very realistic pine cones. I really do want to make these into a pair of earrings. I just think they would look awesome as earrings. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching the video, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy the crunchy leaf season, which is finally here. Bye for now.